Your skin, oh yeah, your skin goes turning into something beautiful. You know, I love you so much. You know I love you so.
When I kind of heard about him again, like he was doing bootleg screenings. But anyway, feel free, brother Tom.
Okay, I found it, so I'm gonna share my screen if you don't
Of
mind.
course. Yeah, no, of course, brother.
Okay.
And now we see our hair.
Okay, you see it now?
Yeah, our hair. Yes, we see it.
Okay, cool. All right. All right. So I'm gonna go down. So you can see where when I first wrote it, and I think August the 14th, 2019, when I put this one out. That a few quotes could say, in saying that our hair is more than a trend or fashion in the eyes of science. Some of these sciences are called astronomy or geoseismology, trichology, study of hair, astrophysics, and helioseismology, study of the sun's structure. In the latter three sciences, scientists have said our sun had flocculi on its surfaces. This was discovered by a machine designed by G. Hale and H. D'Alessandro in 1890 called a spectroheliograph. It is this machine that studying in the prominences from the sun from 1892 to 1908 that showed these flocculi and high levels of activity. Prominences are glowing red loop material shooting from our sun. So these are the two scientists that were studying the sun, and they did that when it was I think it was a lunar eclipse, and it allowed them to be able to point their machine at the sun and see the outer side of the sun and get a better view without hurting their eyes. Well, based on my information and stuff, it could. This here, it is. Right. When you look up the etymology of flocculi, it means tuft of wool, as in hair. Here's the definition of flocculus in Merriam-Webster. A tuft of wool, hairs on a plant, specifically a mass of hyphofilaments or portion of mycelium of a fungus. New Latin from Latin. One of the smallest masses of tufts make up certain cloud formations. The hair African people have also fallen to this category. Mundane scientists also say the sun has what they call solar filaments, which are also defined as threads of hair or pilots, high appendage. Filaments can be found in wool, animals, plants, protein, and name a few. The sun has ropes of plasma defined as solar rope, flux, or flocculi, or wool in parentheses. All right? So a lot of our people don't know that. When Alfred BOONOO wrote the Bible interpretation in booklet 1 and 2 of 1967 and 1968, he was mentioning a lot of this stuff, and so it took years for us to get a hold of these books. And once I started doing that research, it just took me into that. But he talked about this all the time. He always said we came from the sun, and even before that. But this is scientific information that these Caucasian men found, and when they put it out, of course, it's in scientific magazines, but they didn't put this in school. You won't find this in no type of books dealing where our people read this stuff. This is information we should have been getting from birth, coming up. And so we don't know our hair is important. So therefore we so easily quick to destroy it. All right, this is the antenna on the sun's surface in mundane terms. The sun also has solenoids or coils with which electricity works through as a superconductor of heat from our sun's flocculi. This is the same as black people's hair and how we generate a lot of heat when we gather to dance, etc. Yet this is not told for public consumption, and it is my duty as a parent to teach our children the real facts of life that include more than just the birds and the bees, and how we are part of the human family, do matter, and have a place in this world with plenty contributions to date as well as in the past. Before I move on to the final topic, let me add a little more about our sun and African hair. Has, scientifically speaking, the sun ejects out energy called coronal mass ejection, CMEs, and they come out in the form of a double helix. The sun's hair and the African people's hair. The helix and solenoid are shaped like a spring coil and spiral like the floccular woolly hair of the true stars, the suns, and the original hair of the Ethiopian race. Some solenoids can be found among the hair of kinky-haired people of today. Solenoid or helix hair evolved into what is today called beady hair, nappy hair, knotty hair, woolly hair, and kinky hair. Beady hair is beauty hair, nappy hair is beautiful hair, knotty hair is knowledge hair, woolly hair is loving hair, and kinky hair is kingly hair by nature. And this hair makes the Ethiopian race, the African race, unique among the human races and noble. However, noble by nature means you think noble. Note that the word helix comes from the root word helio, and helio means sun. Likewise, the word solenoid is related to the word solar and Ennead, and solar means sun and Ennead means 9. And these are forces and powers of the Ethiopian race, also called the African race, the black race, and Takenoid race. Also, the noid at the end of solenoid refers to blackness or noir. You can see the word noir, film, from the French, literally black film. That French keep popping up. From Latin, Niger, see Negro. All right, BT Nord, personal thing regarded with a special aberration from French. Let me bring this up a little bit. I think it's a BT Nord, literally the black beast for sea beast. Nord is from Latin, Niger. In the scientific community, sol, Latin word for sun, and Ennead, meaning 9, is the Greek word created from the ancient Egyptian pantheon of gods, which is ruled by the chief god called Ra. It is a fact that Ra was seen in human form for many reasons. So all this going to some other stuff, but I wanted just to break down that part of the hair texture part that Farrakhan was talking about. Our hair has a connection to the sun, and the sun has wool on its surface, and the scientist is hiding that. And if we don't understand that, this is another reason why they didn't tell us this, because number one, it kills the Bible and what they talk about human beings, and the Caucasian race was here first. Scientifically, that's impossible. It can't be done. So it's a lot of information that we teach from Noom Science that breaks a lot of this stuff down. Let me see here. Helix hair, Helios, holy, and solar atmosphere. Helix hair or kinky hair is found in cosmetology, is labeled under 4C, which is the tightest of African hair in the hair type system. And these are just different forms of the hair, from straight all the way to the tightest. So most black people.
I'm sorry, brother. Did you say there's wool on the surface of the sun?
Yeah, that's what they calling it, but they using the word floccular to hide that. That's how they do. That's how they do in the science community. I got other videos.
That's not wool. That's not wool as we know, like that's used for the clothing. Right? That's something else then.
Right, but it's the same texture though, because when they looked at it, they using like wool. It's wool, but it's plasma type wool. But it's wool though. That's what the scientist was saying. But it's still true scientifically, and this is another reason why the black race is our hair has been attacked, because our connection to what it is, and it is connected to Ra or Ray, and we can receive not just energy, but we also receive messages via the sun. And because of that, that's why they made us cut our hair. and hate our hair. So when you perming it, dyeing it, you're actually messing with your antennas, because that's what hair is, also an antenna. It's not just meant to cover the skull. And these are just forgotten things that we lost over time. And that's why the guy, like you was reading earlier, making those statements about African people, we lost our reasonability to the point that we don't forgot how we created the pyramids, how we did all those great things. And that goes back to a certain type of reasonability. It's not just losing knowledge or something, because you got a lot of people who don't go to school and know how to fix stuff and not had to go to school for that. That goes into reasonability, or you naturally born intelligent. So we lost that. And that's the problem that people don't understand. So yeah, a lot of this information is, when you really have access, you'd be like, okay, I see where it's going. Because a lot of people may say, wow, that's crazy. But really it's not. You know what I'm saying? But the knowledge is out there. Trust me, they know our connection to nature. And because of that is why they fear us knowing again. And this is why we're constantly getting attacked. My research also revealed more on African hair and the sun's connection. It is a scientific fact our sun has clouds on its surface that the scientists call dark calcium clouds, or floccular wool, according to the book The Minute Structure of the Solar Atmosphere by George E. Hale and Ferdinand Ellerman, January 10th, 1916, pages 102 103 says this. Astronomy, Hale and Ellerman. It says the minute structure of the solar atmosphere. It says during a total eclipse of the sun, when the light of the disk is completely cut off from the moon, the solar atmosphere is momentarily revealed. The exceedingly faint corona extending millions of miles into space can be seen only at such times. But the more brilliant chromosphere, the comparative shallow atmosphere of luminous gases which completely encircle the sun, and the prominence which rise out of it, can be observed on any clear day with the aid of a spectroscope. First applied to this purpose in 1868, the spectrograph has yielded a large store of information regarding the number, distributions, and nature. Nature limb. It is also permitted the observation of certain phenomena of the solar atmosphere and projection against the disk, but on account of the brilliant background, only the general outlines can be thus detected. In order to study their details, we must have recourse. So under here it says, under the picture, it says direct photograph of the sunspots group, scale sun's diameter. All right, reading furthermore. All right, let me make this a little bit bigger for me. All right. It says the atmosphere in 1892, a large number of new phenomena have been brought to light. The spectroheliograph may be briefly described as a moving spectroscope driven at a uniform rate across the solar disk and emitting to the photographic plate through a narrow slit the light of a single spectral line, thus monochromatic images of the solar atmosphere showing the otherwise invisible clouds of hydrogen or of calcium iron region of the solar image. For example, where direct observation shows nothing, or perhaps a group of sunspots, the spectroheliograph may disclose extensive phenomena of great interest in the solar atmosphere. All right. To go down a little further, let me bring this down. It's too big. Hold on. All right. What's next? Okay. It says the structure thus revealed a variation of levels in the solar atmosphere with that of the lower lying photosphere and sunspots. Langley's well-known paper on the minute structure of the solar photosphere, illustrated with its unrivaled drawings, is still our best source of information regarding the structural details of the photosphere and the sunspots. After referring to the spots and faculae, Langley goes on to say, on attentive examination, it is further seen that the surface of the sun everywhere is not absolutely uniform, but is made up of fleecy clouds where outlines are all but indistinguishable under high power use in favorable moments. The surface of any one of these fleecy patches is resolved into a congruence of small, intensely bright bodies in regular distributed, which seems to be suspended in a comparative dark medium. All right, so you're using the word fleecy, and that's also used in when you're dealing with like the wool of sheep and stuff like that. So the words they use are very important and significant. Prominent solar helix and DNA strand. Our sun had also what scientists call prominences, and solar helix was look like a DNA strand. Because this is stuff that they doing. They doing is doctoring up the pictures of the sun. They don't want you to see the actual woolly, because then if we seen those pictures, it will create a whole nother conversation, because their hair is not like that. They don't have woolly hair. They hair is weak and it lays down. It doesn't puff out like the trees on the planet, or these solar filaments as they call it. Solar helix and DNA strand. All right, moving a little slow. Sorry about that. Okay.
No problem, brother.
Okay. All right. Let me go a little further down. Okay, jump back up a little bit. I'm sorry. All right. All right, so as you can see, also, I use this picture not just because it looks like a DNA strand. It's showing you that the sun has these way it coils when it comes off the top of the sun. And trust me, they don't show these in regular images. I don't care what movie they show on or cartoon, they never show these type of pictures. And I have to go and look in a lot of other places to find this stuff. That's why I have to study those different sciences of the sun, like astronomers, and they got different levels of that breakdown into that too. All right, our sun has granulation, which means act of forming into grains. Latin granulum or granulate or granular. All right, so now we're getting into the structure of the sun, and this is the stuff that they are saying, but they not push it into the regular domain. You know, like you got to really go into reading scientific journals and stuff like that, and they'll have it there, but not in like regular stuff. They have bull crap for us to see on the main line. Let me see. So we're showing that part of the granule or the granulation. All right, now this is the sun's photosphere. The outer shell of the sun is called a photosphere to mundane scientists. In noon science, it's called a gas field. The layer of heat forms massive ropes of prominence. And this is what they don't show you. So this give you more context, Shaka, right here. The photosphere, because there's so much heat and it's tight, this is ropes. But they don't show you this in movies and stuff. Only people on the planet with natural ropey hair is us. So they call it a photosphere, but they don't want nobody to know that. All right, the figure shows the threads of rope like magnetic cords. You can see these cords emerge from below the photosphere in the form of this prominence shown to the left. If you look carefully, you will see its twists, coils. Field lines are brought together to form tubes of magnetic flux, which becomes twisted by the effects of convection. Bundles of tubes may be wound together in ropes, amplifying further the field strength. When the field strength in the ropes becomes sufficiently great, they float to the surface. Sunspot groups form where kinks, right? Kinky hair, kinks in the rope penetrate the photosphere. The ropes are squeezed together by convection, currents. Despite their tendency to push apart, the rapid equatorial rotation distorts lines of force, and convection causes them to twist around. See, twist around each other to form what? Magnetic cords, like
desire.
Coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, are huge clouds of plasma and magnetic field occasionally thrown off by the sun. Scientists study them because the massive bursts pose a threat to space-based technology and even power grids on the ground. Within each CME lies a kernel known as a flux rope, tightly wound groups of magnetic field lines that can contain and transport solar material. Astronomers have seen them as the CME bursts off the sun, but they have been next to impossible to detect on the sun itself. New research using NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory has now shown that they can be seen in just one of its cameras, which shows the very hottest material on the sun. By watching a flux rope form and eject as a CME, the research has brought some closure to one long-standing mystery: whether ropes form before or during the CME's eruption. It's impossible to actually see the flux ropes, or any of the sun's powerful magnetic fields involved with CMEs and flares, because these fields are invisible. But scientists can map them by observing plasma trapped by these fields, which shows up as thin lines in extreme ultraviolet light. Since Earth's atmosphere naturally filters this UV light, scientists must observe it using telescopes in space, such as NASA's SDO, so there have been relatively few detailed observations of CMEs, particularly at higher temperatures. SDO images the sun at high image and time resolution. It is also the first satellite to consistently observe light with a wavelength of 131 angstroms, which highlights plasma at temperatures of around 10 million degrees. This wavelength is usually reserved for studying solar flares, but what NASA and Naval Research Laboratory scientists found is that the flux ropes associated with CMEs could only be seen at this temperature. On July 19, 2012, a CME erupted from the visible edge, or limb, of the sun. Because it was on the limb, the flux ropes were in profile and particularly visible. Even more important, the flux ropes appeared about 7 hours earlier in the same location. The ropes were visible as a line of figure eights that looked exactly the way theorists predicted they would. This is the first direct evidence that flux ropes form well before a coronal mass ejection. Footage of the CME from the SOHO spacecraft confirmed the presence of the flux ropes. By adding footage from the Stereo A spacecraft, which is viewing the sun from an entirely different angle, the researchers were able to create a three-dimensional picture of the flux ropes. For the most part, they follow the classic figure-eight pattern previously observed and predicted by solar models. But some of these ropes also had feet which extended farther away than scientists expected. This deviation from the models is interesting and requires further study. Besides showing proof of early flux rope formation, this study also paves the way for future flux rope and CME research by literally finding a new light to observe them in. The possibility of using flux rope formation as an early warning system for CMEs means that this line of research can have some very practical and far-reaching applications. And it can also help wrap up some of the long-standing mysteries of the sun.
Ropes being woven right into what? Strong threads. The enhanced field first reaches maximum strength at latitudes of about plus minus 40 degrees. As a result, sunspot formation tends to occur first at these latitudes. And this is from sourceangelfire.com. This is what they say. So they're telling you they seeing ropes of wool, right? But they calling it flocculi because they don't want to say that in basic English terms. So now these dudes have now identified the sun has wool hair. And then you got a race of people on the planet with wool hair, and they getting attacked all the time because what? We are from the African continent, where that's the land of the sun. Give me 1 second. So anything you wanted to say on that before we move forward?
No, keep going, brother.
Okay. All right. Let me see. All right, now here's another picture from June 4th, 1946. Now look at that. The hair of the Ethiopian black African race also can be called granulation, and you can see the same rope similarities. And this is a picture right here, and it looked like a slinky a little bit. You can see the little ropes and the twist, and this is a black and white picture that they took, so you can see that. Now look at this. This is in color. Same thing in color. You can see the ropes of hair. Now look at us. It's no way anybody can deny that. There's no way nobody can deny that. And the reason why our hair is able to kink, it means that it has to be a sun inside. You have to have heat within your genes in order for it to come up through your blood all the way up through your skull to make your hair kink up like that. The same way the sun has so much heat in itself that it turns into ropes and floats to the top. So this is just showing you on a basic level that we do come from the sun. And that's a scientific thing. That ain't pseudo at all. And they don't teach this stuff. I had to go deep to catch this information to find that. And this is what we got. Black people should love their hair and realize who they are. And all stars have this ropes of hair. For the record, all the stars have that. It ain't just our sun. Listen to Sound Right Reason. This also confirms the sun's prominence has coils on it, but the videos that they're releasing to the public doesn't show that. It's obvious it's being done to hide this from the black kinky haired people on planet Earth.
I'm going to send you a link through chat.
All right.
Because I couldn't remember my password to Instagram. Go ahead and feel free to share your screen once you're in, because we can click on the videos and stuff. This guy basically has an amazing telescope where he can get close-up pictures of the sun.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
Where it almost looks like hair on the sun's surface. Yes. Yeah. So go ahead and click on random ones. Some of them are videos.
I want to see this.
Where you can.
Oh, whoa. This just in, everyone. We've discovered the sun is made of hair. Hair that is alive. In fact, I think the sun might have some trouble. Wow. That's
ain't cool.
Crazy.
I was just flipping out on these close-ups, and I was just like,
wow,
this is incredible. The telescope, and if you think about it, I don't even know what the ISO is, because you're shooting the sun.
Right.
I have no idea the brightness
the
and
intricacy
how...
and all that. Wow. Okay, let me see here. Whoa!
Isn't that incredible? That's the sun, people.
And Earth is probably like this big, you know, or like smaller.
Gosh, yeah.
Whoa! Yeah. Even got the little swirls.
Isn't that incredible?
Oh my gosh! Jeez. Let me see here. Oh, the eye.
So that must be one of the sunspots,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was just.
It's like molten.
This is amazing.
Like molten fire, like.
It doesn't look like grass or like.
Yeah.
Almost, what's in the ocean, like kelp or whatever, you know, like in the ocean, how they have like the grass in the ocean.
And,
yeah,
like,
seaweed grass.
It also looks like those wind current sort of graphics. Wow, that's crazy.
But that stuff's like scorching hot.
Oh yeah. Can't even. Oh my gosh, that is so.
It's just incredible, right?
Cool. Nick, if we're
the black and white look good too.
If we're not careful, Nick, I'm just gonna keep on going through this here.
No, you know what, Kyle? Follow them. They're super talented.
Yeah, Truman the Kind of Peace in War Times. This is the gentleman's Instagram, Simone2940. I actually follow him. I came upon this through a YouTube suggestion about 2 days ago. I had some other things I had to do before I jumped on this. I want to send a special shout out to Almighty Nature, especially NoopooH, male and female, 9 mind, 9 reason, 9 ether energies, for mentally being born in the mind of A-NOOT and giving him this information that was written as far back as the Bible interpretations, 1967 to 1968, 1971 and 1972, and brought back even more so with diagrams in the nature books that was written in the 90s, and the last book he put out in 2007 that he wrote, and that his wife, Miss NoopooH, released on his behalf in late 2012, early 2013. This is another win for the Black African race, for all of you who are still holding on to the nature knowledge and information. This is another confirmation that he indeed was who he said he was. And also special shout out to Jipu and Sipu and those who they had taught and are out there somewhere underneath the radar living their life. Also a special shout out to those who are currently still holding on to the information and putting it out. This is definitely been a long time coming, and more facts are going to be delivered by nature, showing and proving that we on the right path. So this is bigger than when we found out that when Dr. York's slaves tried to say Afro-Uno was on the land with York, which is an absolute lie, and we provided the facts that was a whole nother man. He just happened to look like Afro-Uno a little bit, but that wasn't him. And nature brought that to us. We wasn't looking for the information per se. Somebody actually brought it to our attention. And this is the same thing. This is one of those times where, things are so easy. All right, so I just wanted to put that down, and just keep holding on, and that nature will continue to bring forth the facts. All right, so this is his YouTube page, and as you can see the all right, so let's look at some of these pictures. All right, so again, as you can see, look at it. If you can't see that that's hair, I don't know what else to tell you. And this is what we've been saying earlier, me building upon what Afro-Uno wrote. And I even made a prediction. I told y'all that the true images that they putting out of the sun are not true. That's who they are. And all stars have this ropes of hair. For the record, all the stars have that. It ain't just our sun. Listen to Sound Right Reason. This also confirms the sun's prominence has coils on it, but the videos that they're releasing to the public doesn't show that. It's obvious it's being done to hide this from the black kinky haired people on planet Earth. This guy here is an amateur scientist who built his own telescope and pointed it up there, and this is what he's seen. So you can see that. You can see that. This is a beautiful time to be part of the African Ethiopian race, and knowing that Noon is telling the truth. Let's look at this black and white picture, this gray joint. Man, look at that. A ball of hair. A ball of hair. All right, so we get down here to him talking about the sons, right? Now here is the females in the case of a human being, but look, see hair. And this is Jupiter and Saturn. They're female stars. But he's showing you, right, that their sons have hair. See, look. These right here are the coils on the sun. Okay, so all this stuff that we looking at, it just proved that Afro-Uno was indeed in touch. So anybody out there, especially the followers of Dwight York, who's in jail forever, y'all never taught this type of information. Y'all believe that an alien created all this stuff. This is how mentally dead y'all are, and the facts don't support none of that. So we just gonna keep going. We're just gonna show you that nature, sound right reason, works with the ones who doing the right thing, and y'all are not them. Again, look at this. Look how beautiful it is. Look at these beautiful shots. Now go back and look at the other doctored up versions of the sun being shown, and y'all don't see nothing like this. This is as close as what we've been saying for years. And this just the surface. So if you look at the nature book, he showed the coils was underneath. So the coils are there, but they underneath that. This is the top of the sun. But underneath it are the coils. All right? So, before we get out of here, if y'all want to purchase the books that I put out a couple years ago that's dealing with the sun and our hair, please feel free to go to lulu.com, type in my name, Tar Ken on NoopooH, and you will find these two books up here. Another one book to get that's good is Our Son Ray as Creator. And it'll go into all this extra stuff that you didn't know. And these are books that should be in our homes being taught to our children so they can realize how great they are scientifically in real time, and that the positive forces of nature are bringing forth that they are indeed special, and ourselves as well, and that we need to really look into reality and wake up. All right, I don't want to be long, so trim me the corner piece in wartime.